Hello, my friend, and welcome to the study. We're going to do some relaxing writing and whispering with some verbs in Latin that set off indirect statement. We'll be using our Caveco pencil and fountain pen because they make some nice sounds. We'll also use our Rhodia notepad with a coated cover. Verbs introducing indirect statement are those of mental processes, saying, thinking, knowing, believing, and finding out. After verbs like this, indirect statement is followed or follows with accusative and an infinitive. So we're going to write the verbs out, noting some peculiarities of usage in indirect statement with these. And then we'll look at a few sentences. Deco. Looks like I need to check the ink. Sometimes the squeaky sound is nice and sometimes it's not. This is why it's not writing. It is completely empty. That is probably something I should have checked before we started. I'm going to put in a cartridge of turquoise by Waterman, what they used to call South Seas blue. Back to our vocabulary. Deco. I'm going to write most of these in the first person singular. Say. Narrow. Tell. understand, realize. Butto, think. Skio, no. Credo, believe. Sentio, feel. Notice. Disco, learn. Minor, threaten. Polygeor, promise. Spero, hope. Affermo, declare. Appareo, each one of these can set off indirect speech. For example, they say that the army has arrived, or I believe that Caesar is coming. So we have one active verb and a subordinate clause with an infinitive, and instead of the subject of the clause being in the nominative, it is normally in the accusative. Let's do some more words, and then we will look at some peculiarities. the same person, but we can do infinitives as well. And juro, swear. Necesse est, it must be or it is. Inevitable. And other ways to say something impersonally. Während men or people say. Manifestum est. It is clear. Oh, my writing's getting erratic. Pro certo habeo. I am sure. Apparet. It is evident. So all of these verbs introducing accusative plus infinitive and entailing a thought processes. Let's have a look at how we say negatives. I think we'll stay on the same page. To say that something is not so, in Latin we must say he denies. And for that we do not say dico plus non. We say nego, deny, or say that not. He said that reinforcements were not coming. So to make that into a Latin sentence, first in English we would have to rearrange it to say he denied that any reinforcements were coming. So the words we would use with this look very much like odd negative formations in English. However, they are not double negatives, they just sound like triple negatives. Quem quam. Quiquam. Anything. Ulum. It's very hard to see those L's. Any. Umquam. Usquam. Anywhere. short or small phrase, but never an entire clause or sentence. So either or after nego is going to be out, out. Let's look at some sentences. So I'll put it here so you can see it. And hopefully see both what I'm writing and what we've done together. Negat se venturum esse. He denies that he will come. So we have venturum, the future, and esse, so the infinitive, future infinitive. Venturum esse. The se is referring back to the subject of negat. He says, say that he will not come. Say always refers back to the subject. If he denied that someone else, he would not come, we would have eum. The object, he denies that Joe would come. To put it into nice English, he says, and we'll put this in for the negative onto the verb that is in the infinitive. He will not come. And we have our understood conjunction there that we can put in or leave out in English. Negat se venturum esse. Let's do another negative. There are so many negative examples. So obviously this won't be exhaustive, but we can have some fun with it. Negavit se. Quemquam. Vidisse. So we have another denial and our subject. So he denied or he said, because we have the perfect tense there. We have quem, which here fix this deny in English, we can say he said that he, bring the negative over to the infinitive verb, had not seen anyone. Or we can actually say he said that he did not see anyone. Or he said that he had seen no one. Put the negative on the object. Either way, we have this negative must be somewhere in that clause if we flip it around, because here we have no negative, so we have to have one negative in the English. That's rather exhaustive, so let's do another one. We don't need nego if it's not talking about saying, as in deco. Deco is the only one that we can't put ne with, except in one instance. Senex, dicit, or dixit se, non nuntio sed militi credere. And this is the only way in which a dico can go with a non, because he's not denying something. The old man said, dixit, that he, say, accusative, that he, credere, believed or trusted, not the messenger, but the soldier. Credere. And remember, credo is plus accusative instead of dative when it's an indirect statement. Let's do one more negative. Without deco. Responded. Se neminem. And no, it's not a delicious chocolate candy coated treat, unfortunately. Could go for one of those about now. And there we have we disse again. Responded. Se neminem we disse. Responded. He replied. So we don't have to worry about the nego because it has nothing to do with deco. That he, we disse, had seen neminem, no one. And if it had been a nego, we would use quem, anyone. words again. We've got several that mean promise. Prometo, polikeor. You can use either one. I promise that I will send the money. I promise that he will be on time with his supplies. Trying to think of something from Caesar. But polikeor you see much more often. With minor, the deponent verb, threatening. You can threaten someone with something, so that would be in the dative, to threaten someone with something. So that will be an accusative. For example, tibi mortem minor. I threaten tibi to you. Accusative, death. That's a quote, it's not from me. Because I would never do such a thing. Not in the study. Similarly, we have several verbs for thinking. Puto, arbitror, and existimo. All of these can be used as arbitratus and not by a present participle. For example, arbitratus many times becomes ratus. It is thought. So thinking that the mountains were close, Hannibal ordered camp to be struck. Thinking. And Germanic speakers might notice that ratus is also cognate in German, raten, to think or guess or surmise, raten. That comes, but interestingly, Caesar used arbitratus. Let's see what other sentences we can do. Some more interesting things. In English, we often use an infinitive after words of hope, promise, threaten, swear. I swear to uphold the law. I promise to be there tomorrow. However, Latin does not do that. We must add a clause with an accusative and infinitive. Policiti sunt, they promised. se statim pecuniam redituros. So we have a future, and we might or might not have esse there. If not, it is understood because this is an infinitive. Polikiti sunt, they promised that they, and this is almost always an indicator of a new clause talking about the subject. They promised that they would in our future, but would repay pecuniam, the money, at once. And in English we can use an infinitive to repay the money at once. So you can see how the Latin will use this mini clause there with the accusative and infinitive, and we can translate it in English with a simple infinitive. They promised to repay the money at once. We can use this with hope as well as threaten. Impersonal subjects and sort of impersonal verbs are a little bit more tricky. We'll do some of these sentences. The writing's very messy today. That's satis. I've got power tools outside somewhere and some birds having an animated discussion. So we have the noises of the community, but it's outside this bubble of the study where we're relaxing. Satis constat neminem. Vere cladi. Superpuisse. So satis constat. It is well known. Satis enough. Well. That. Vere neminem. Almost, hardly, no one or anyone, because we have to worry about our negatives. That hardly anyone cladi superpuisse. Superpuisse is our perfect infinitive of to survive. Survived cladi, the disaster. Possibly Pliny writing about his uncle and Vesuvius. is where Latin does not do so much of the English impersonal subject. The Romans dicuntur are said. So there's a passive there. Puisse. That's our perfect infinitive. To have been. Fortes milites. Brave soldiers. Where in English we can just say, it is said that the Romans were brave soldiers. Another one we can use is videmur. Videmur. Eravisse. We seem to have made a mistake or erred or to have been wrong. And in English we can say it seems. And we have here the first person plural for we. So that's how we know who has erred or who was wrong. How do we know what verb tense we're going to put the infinitive in? Some interesting example here. Sciebam regem venire. Sciebam is imperfect. I knew that the king was coming. Sciebam regem venturum esse. I knew that the king would come. It's our future. And yet another one. Venisse, our perfect infinitive. So there are only three main tenses of infinitive: present, future, and perfect. Present, in the future, and in the past. I knew that the king was coming. Present. I knew that the king would come. Future. And I knew that the king had come. Past. How do you know which one to put the infinitive in? Well, it's quite easy. The infinitive goes into the same tense as it would were it in direct speech. For example, the present tense in direct speech. The king is coming. I knew that the king was coming. The king will come. I knew that the king would come. The king had come, or the king came. I knew that the king had come. So just ask what it is in direct speech, and that gives you the tense of the infinitive. There, my friend, we've done yourself.